Mr. Harris.
No real difference. It's mainly about helping, but I realize it's helping people because lots of them are in pain in different ways when it's pain. And I just fall back on Zig Ziglar, help enough others, get what they want, you can get everything.
Over. Yeah. Patty?
Probably one of the newest or youngest coaches in the room, and I started to do this and I partnered with my husband. And it's been a real eye-opener for me because, so I look out in our community, and our community is relatively small, 65,000, and we know a lot of the, what we call the movers and the shakers. It amazes me, behind those people are not thriving businesses, and yet they put up such a facade. And so my background is counseling and education, and I realize that a lot of these entrepreneurs live in isolation of support. So that's what I want to be able to do, is to use those skills, plus the financial background that Gary has, in helping those businesses have an inside reality that matches what they like to think their outside perception is.
Right on. Beautiful. Awesome.
Primarily, I love to build systems, really, that's what it is. And businesses are just a synergistic integration of systems. Well, they should be synergistic, I suppose, but most of them they are. Also, I want the location freedom, time freedom, but like almost that whole row over there said, at the end of the day, it really just comes down, everything in life comes down to value exchange between people. And I could be a singer and entertain people, but that's pretty low value. It's not really life changing. But through business, because we can change the business owner's life, then they can, through their product or service, change their customers' lives, change their employees' lives. It is a way that we can amplify our value so much more through these systems. I get those systems, I get the independence, I get all this altruistic life changing actually going on.
Yeah.
That's
Word
what it
about.
is.
I definitely just fell into this. I've had about 24 businesses over the years. One of my largest businesses I sold. I talked to my wife when we first got married. I said, you know, work all hard, do all this. I'm retired at 4 years old. End of June, my 40th birthday, I sold all my businesses. Completely liquid, was the greatest thing in the world. Went home, took about 6 months, and our whole family did our bucket list. Kids went back to school. I was in depression. I had nothing to do. Thought the retirement was great. It sucked. So even I'm one with friends. I would pay them for days off and do things, and then they couldn't take days off. So for me, the one thing when I had my IT company, it was my largest company, we sold it, about 100 people. After I quote retired, all those people started calling me back and saying, you had great ideas, help me out, help me, and I could do that. And it became a game for me because in my IT business, it was the best business I had, but the worst because it was time for money. And I was sick and tired of doing time for money. So for me, this is it's a game. And I definitely charge whatever the market will bear. So my goal is always to deliver the highest value, but by delivering the highest value, I get the highest multiple. So getting paid, I don't really care if I get paid at the end. I'd rather get paid at the end than the beginning. And then lifestyle-wise, like you said, it's phenomenal. Now I'm into a couple more businesses, but I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. And fire customers. Every month, I fire customers. I want to help people, but if you don't want to help yourself, don't waste my time. Go find somebody else.
Beautiful. Okay. Good.
Well, I decided, I guess about 6 months ago, it was time for a change. I made a major change eons ago when I was a mathematician and I went into management consulting, worked my way up what is now PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then we got a few of us went off and created our own firm. I've been in the change leadership business at the corporate level. But, you know, changing corporations is very satisfying on the one hand, but it's an amorphous system. You know, I mean, you're helping some individuals in the system, but it's a corporate world. So I thought, well, it's time to retire. But somebody here said earlier that, retirement really isn't for me, and it's not really for me either. I was getting bored by the moment kind of thing. So I was looking for something that would, get down to the personal level, and at the same time, build on what I know I'm good at, which is helping people change. It's a different game for me in terms of getting into, strategic marketing, but when you put your mind to it, like somebody said earlier, just dumb down, just ask questions, which is really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
And so I'm still relatively new. I'm, focusing on joint venturing. It's taking a little longer than I thought it would, but it's going to be. It is already fun in terms of the individuals that I am working with, and hope to continue this. And why am I really doing it? Well, I mean, to help people, to help individuals, but my wife is from Sri Lanka, and we have a number of projects that we support there, and retiring, I wouldn't be able to support them at the same level, so those are the motivators.
I think everybody, you guys have said, everybody's kind of touched upon why I'm doing this. My purpose as a doctor of physical therapy, and I've always started more like, I want to help people, and that's where I'm at now with the coaching. I just have my own business. But, so a lot of what you guys have said applies to me as well, so I'm not going to reiterate. But here's the one thing that I really feel good about. Nothing gets me more juiced and more happy about doing this business. It makes me psyched when I can inspire my clients. They come back and they go, that was an awesome idea. I can't believe how much time you saved, how much money you've been able to make with this or whatever. That gets me out of bed more. So we talk about getting out of bed more, bam. You make a difference in somebody's life. That's what does it. Just happiness. And just a real quick book, Happiness Advantage by Sean Atcher. Great for you. It's all about just, you're happy first before you're successful. That's why I do this.
Andy.
So it's 23 years sales and marketing with big corporate companies. Fairly soulless, made a lot of money for a lot of shareholders I never meet. So for me it was always if not now and when. Every year there was a reason why I couldn't get out of the golden handcuffs. And just so I decided plunged on 6 months now doing this. Absolutely, it's about helping people, but also it was very much for myself saying, I can have another 20 years working like Tesco's, Walmart's, Carrefour's, Oceans, and doing top meetings with them, or I can actually have a go at this. And maybe in 10 years it's a completely different lifestyle. So it's all my family, don't be why I'm doing this, enjoy it, and hopefully benefit other people on the way.
Beautiful. Business coaches up the back. Only the business. Kevin?
I get a chance to do what I like, which is to study and refine and create. I've done that all my life. My background is real estate, banking, insurance, lawyers, and running the family farming business. So I have background there, and at this point I'm semi-retired and I can do whatever I want. So helping people and getting paid for it's a really good deal.
Beautiful. Anybody else? We get it? No, John Robbins. Come on. All right. Okay, so look, guys, well done. And again, so now I want to increase your conversion rates a little bit. But by the way, everybody did a fabulous job. That's exactly what we're looking for. And again, I was really impressed with the fact that there was just so much. I mean, obviously we knew we were going to hear it, but it was, not so much about, hey, I want to make $100,000 and that would be awesome, right in my pajamas. But it's more about I want to give back, I want to help, because ultimately that's what it's always going to be about. Let me give you a few examples. Tony Robbins, everybody, no doubt you guys have heard him speak at some stage in an audio. Anything over an hour, you're going to hear him tell this story. He was 11 years old. It was Thanksgiving. Do you guys already know where I'm going with this? It was Thanksgiving. Somebody rolled up, handed over. Somebody knocked on the door. 11-year-old Tony Robbins, much shorter, I would imagine, than what he is maybe today, standing at 6'7", like our buddy Chris. He opens up the door. There's a guy standing there with food, right? He breaks it down into focus, meaning, do, which I believe to be very powerful. He focused on the fact, wow, there's food. The meaning is that, wow, strangers care. What's he going to do? He's going to find a way to do the same thing for families in the future. Here he is, right? His father, who was, not far behind him, as he opened the door and somebody was giving he opened the door and somebody gave his family, right, a monster, meal and whatnot for Thanksgiving. So his father was not far behind him, and guess what his father did? Focus, meaning, do. He focused on, this is charity. What's the meaning? I'm a loser. What am I going to do? I'm going to leave my family, which he did. You watch Tony Robbins for longer than 1 hour, or on average, he will tell that story, okay? Brendan Bouchard. You guys know this one? Okay, so he was driving along. He was like a young man, about 19 years old. I can't remember what it was. He was in some faraway country, and he gets in a car accident. He's lying there, and he said, did I live, did I love, did I matter? As he was lying there, covered in blood. Okay, so when you see him speak for longer than an hour, and Brendan does it significantly more than Tony, because I think Tony's sort of, gone to a whole nother level, you'll hear Brendan say that. Why do I say that, guys? You can find, like my story, my brother committed suicide when I was 16 years old. It's tough even today, a long time ago, but it's tough to get your head around. Had to do with a business failing. It's a freaking joke, right? Are you kidding me? He's 23 years old. We all know from what you guys just said. Are you kidding me? If he had the balls to go and do what he was doing at 23, could you imagine where he'd be when he was 43? We all know that, but you don't know it in the moment. I truly believe. Why do marriages break up? Lack of money, significantly more than they do lack of love, right? So as business coaches, I really want to pull, from your heart to my heart, like that's what we're doing, guys. I truly believe we're saving lives, we're saving marriages. What do you think happens after my brother commits suicide? My whole family capitulates. The whole family went, it's a gong show to this day, sadly, but it is what it is, right? Again, all of a sudden that business doesn't go sideways, that doesn't happen. Could be a very, very different outcome. You see me standing here today, I'm incredibly passionate about helping small business owners, which brings me to meeting this fine young gentleman in the back, Adrian Osh, the man, the myth, the legend, what you call him. Again, in my years, I have never met a man as passionate about, I thought I was passionate about it, and I truly am from my heart, I promise you. Adrian Osh, nobody's on his level, right? Like the man is so passionate about helping these families, helping these businesses get their message out and whatnot. So again, I take that. If you guys can come up with a story that you can attach, like Tony Robbins, Brendan Bouchard, maybe something like the one that and you guys, a lot of you have heard that. Again, if I'm speaking to you for an hour, I'll often pull that out. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I'm not it's not some Jedi mind trick and a sales trick. It's very legitimate, comes from my heart, but I want you to get to know me. Why am I doing this? I'm not, making 100 grand in my pajamas. Sounds great, but there's just so much more, and it's so much more exciting for me. So with you guys, you want to increase your conversions, come up with your story. So I really love to help people, but can you attach it to an event that's happened throughout your life? Like John, you've got a military background, right? And a very impressive one. You could, no doubt, tie that. When I spoke to a small business owner, if I was you, I'd be, that would be coming out, all day long. Same with Walt, right? But anyways, folks, we need to keep moving. So be decisive. Probably don't need to explain there, but screw it up, see what happens. Just make a decision. The good news is make a wrong decision, and guess what? Now and you can just sort of change pace a little bit, right? Boom. So be decisive, guys. Just have a crack at it, a little bit along the lines of how I started this thing with the the quote where we're all just lost. Just have a crack. You want to break through on anything. Guys, I want you to think of something in your own existence like where you've had a challenge. Like maybe, in fact, what John talked about earlier, marketing on the internet. With a show of hands, tell me if you struggle a little bit with marketing on the internet. It's a bit of a pain in the backside for you, okay? So, if you want to break through with that, and notwithstanding, relationship with your kids, relationship with your spouse, it's, any challenge that you've got, this 3-step formula will help you do that. Number one, it's sort of similar to our cognitive, emotional, physical earlier. Number one is you need a strategy, okay? Goes without saying. So you want to market on the internet? We all know how to do it fundamentally, right? We should read or watch John's presentation. He's got some fabulous content in there. But the reality is he's saying, hey guys, create some good content and put it out there on a regular basis, correct? Welcome to the internet. It's that simple, okay? So on a strategy level, we all kind of have a pretty good idea as to what we need to do, okay? Comes to the next level, story. My question is, what's this story you're telling yourself? I'm too old, I'm too dumb, I'm not an IT guy, I dropped out of school, these young guys are gonna, knock the crap out of me if I try to do this. What's the story that you're telling yourself? If you're telling yourself the wrong story, guess what? I don't give a crap how good your strategy is, the story is gonna stop you from even getting started, and once you do get started, and heaven forbid you get a bump in the road, do you think John Robbins has done a video once in a while that didn't optimize and didn't do what, he thought it should in the early days? Absolutely. Did he let it knock him off his perch? Did he let it discourage him? No, and then all of a sudden now he's a Rhodes Scholar on the thing, right? So again, what's the story that you're telling yourself and around marketing on the internet or any other challenge that you may have? The next, though, is your state, okay? If you really want to go somewhere, if you really want to get something accomplished, a metaphor I like to use, I've got a 2-year-old daughter, right? So I'm 43 years old. Actually, no, hang on. Hey, I am 44 today. It is my birthday. Hey. Shit. I'm getting old right before your eyes, folks, right? I got more gray hair popping through. Okay, so I've got a 2-year-old daughter. I wake up, it's Saturday, I work pretty hard during the week. Saturday, Sunday, those are my days. You can imagine how, I can't, I wake up at 6, wait, is she awake? Is she awake? Is she awake? I'm still in that phase, right? Many of you are probably like, I think he's crazy, right? But I'm there and I'm looking, and then boom, she wakes up, and then I go in, right? And I'm like, oh, open up the door, and then guess what? My daughter's like, where's mommy? You kidding me, right? And again, at this stage, what can I do? I can sit there, and let's face it, guys, and some of the fathers would admit that, you're like, you know what? I'll go get your stinking mom. How's that sound, right? Or you could take the, what's, what I mean? Like, what's wrong with me? You could get in the wrong state very, very easily with that level of disappointment. Well, How about instead of doing, letting the disappointment take over, what if I go in there and I go, hey, baby girl, and we got this place called Coco's, right? We're going to go to Coco's today. Mommy's not going to come with us. We're going to go to Coco's, you and Daddy. You see what I mean? Like I get giddy and I get fun and I get playful. How long do you think it takes me to turn around so all of a sudden she's got her arms up and say, hey, please, Daddy, please get me out of this crib, right? Real quick. What happens on a cold call when somebody's telling you to piss off? What happens when you walk in and try form a joint venture with an accountant? Like again, there's your state, guys. If you can control your state in this particular moment, the next particular moment, next week when you get home, this is the secret sauce, guys. Your state will dictate how far you do or do not go with any undertaking. Again, with our kids, with our spouses, what have you. So you want to market on the internet? Go in it with a level of confidence, with your chest out, breath going through your body, going, you know what? I'm going to work this friggin' thing out. And by the way, why are you going to do it? You're going to do it because you're changing lives. You're saving lives. You're changing. You're saving marriages. Like, what happens when Dad's business fails? How does Dad feel? Like a piece of, you know what? Like, would you agree? Like, okay, hands up if you spend more time with your business than you do with your kids. Hands up if you spend more time with your business than you do with your spouse. This is reality. So do you think there's a decent chance that your success in your business is tied to your identity? Right? You guys know what I mean by your identity. I'm not talking about like hey, I think I'm pretty cool. I'm talking your identity in your soul, right? Well, and by the way, guys, I've been there, done that, got the postcard, right? Like I've had like some ups and stinking downs, like, and all of you have as well, right? So, but when my businesses were failing and I was doing poorly, how do you think I felt? And how do you think I was as a stepdad and a stepdad and as a father and as a businessman, right? Well, the whole idea is you got to get your head around it and just get into the state. So why am I saying? So what do we do normally when we got a challenge? We try to market on the internet. We come up with a strategy. Start with your state. Walk into that, like walk up to that computer going, you know what, you little rat bag, son of a gun laptop, we're going to do this, you and me. I'm going to wake up with leads on the internet, but you know what I mean, get in the right state. But honest to God, guys, and this is Tony Robbins stuff, right? Not Karl Bryan stuff that I'm sort of borrowing and then I twisted to suit my own little style. But like state, story, and then and strategy. But everybody starts with a strategy and you need to start with the state. Completely change your life, folks, or at least that's my opinion. You know what? Test it out. Why not test it here? And let's see. And actually, let me just give you a very quick example. When Michael Jackson died, where were you? You can remember exactly where you were, exactly probably what you were wearing, who you were standing there, who told you, what have you, right? The reason why is it gave you an unbelievable state change, and now you remember. Some of you are old enough, like when Elvis died, and then it's like when Princess Diana died, September 11th, where were you? You know exactly where you were standing. You're sitting there watching the screen going, oh my God, what am I watching here, right? So again, guys, that is the reason why you remember it, and you remember it so precisely, is because the state that it put you into. Again, I cannot begin, this presentation, there's not enough time to go into it to the depth that I would love to, but I'm telling you guys, it's really game changing. At least that's my opinion. You guys experiment it, and what a great place to start with here. Where focus goes, energy flows. It kind of synergistic to what I just said, in that, are you going to focus on the negative and what's complicated? Are you going to, concentrate on, well, I've never failed at anything before, so why the hell would I fail at this? Like, let's rock and roll, right? Clarity. Need to get insanely clear with what we want to accomplish. And again, you guys are business coaches. I don't need to explain that to you. But here's what I think. Adrian, how often do we speak to a business coach and they say, look, I just need some more leads? Like, it would be like every stinking phone call, it feels like, when we meet somebody new. Well, the question is more leads. Well, guess what? Make 2 phone calls and you got 2 prospects. Done. Okay, I'm out. Right? Somebody says to me, hey, do you want, I need more money. Okay, well, here's $2. You're done. Right? So you got to get in, you see, all of a sudden you're done. I got to lose some weight. Well, you lose a pound and then give up. You got to get insanely clear with what it is that you want to accomplish. So we're here to talk about the business. Let's, the weights and the relationship and all that sort of stuff. It all, ties in exactly the same as the business. But we talk about the business. Tell me, guys, how many leads do you want to get on the week that you get home? What do you want your conversions to be? You're going to contact 10 people? What number of clients? The number of clients, how much are they going to pay you? At the end of the month, what's the amount of money that's going to hit your bank account in a recurring income? And get it down and get it to the point where it's so clear, it's so stinking crystal clear. And by the way, do we want to set like achievable goals, or do we want to sort of push ourselves a little bit and go outside the box? Obviously, we want to go a little bit further and get a little bit clearer, and guess what happens? Puts us in a state of mind, one step in front of the other. At the end of the day, nobody knows what they're friggin' doing anyways, including us, so who really cares? Screw it up, see what happens, and go. But to get incredibly clear, guys, with what it is that you want to accomplish. My experience is that people tell me they want more leads, they get 2, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? All of a sudden they got exactly what they asked for. That's the problem. I want you to get exactly what you asked for, but I want you to ask for, 50 leads using John's system on the internet, something along those lines, right? How many phone calls you're going to make? Start every conversation situation with a desired outcome. Get a metaphor I like to use, like I jump on my rowing machine every morning, or in fact, not every morning. Some mornings, as you can see, unfortunately. But the idea is that I jump on this stupid treadmill or this rowing machine and I do it. But see, here's like my outcome is that I want to burn off 300 calories. That's like my thing, right? I mean, I can't sit on this thing for an hour. I got things to do and people to get to, and those emails are stacking up every morning for me. So I just want to so the faster I go, guess what? The quicker I get through the 300. The slower I get, the longer it takes me. But you see the way, I worry about the outcome as opposed to most people jump on a rowing machine and what do? They're going to go for 15 minutes. Or they're going to go for 30 minutes or 45, which by the way is totally fine and you're insanely clear. I personally, I would rather get the outcome quicker and then save myself 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes to be able to go and reply to emails, right? But you see the outcome. When you jump on the phone, and a lot of guys, a lot of you folks were sold by me, right? When I chat to you, guys, I get at the end of that phone call, there's one thing and one question and one question only coming. What's your credit card number, right? Like that's it. Like I am insanely clear, and not in a. It's like, and by the way, when you guys buy from me, do you think that I think you're doing me a favor? I'm doing you a favor. I truly, from my heart. And by the way, I, from my heart, honor and appreciate everybody and every client that's ever signed up with us. But I will tell you that honestly, I really see it that you don't know what you're in for. You guys know Adrian well enough to know that over delivering is the value of that this man lives by. So when you come into our network, I know that we're going to over deliver. So believe me, when I ask you for your credit card, in my heart, I believe that I'm doing you the favor, right? And I think that's important because if you want to close those deals, you need to feel the same way. So again, start every conversation, every situation with a desired outcome, and that might be getting the email. Craig, can we have some thinking music, please, brother? Okay, so guys, like it might be getting an email address, it might be getting that joint venture deal done, it might be getting them to, have a look at your book or the pamphlet that you've put together, but insanely clear as to what you want that outcome to be, and magically good things will start to happen. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is I've just got a few little questions here, and it's in your own time. I want you guys to jot these down in your notes, but what do you really want? And that's a very subjective question, clearly. But I want you guys to write down that, like, what is it that you really want? Let's start with this conference so that, we're getting real clear. What is it that you want? Why did you come here? What is it at the end of 3 days, at the end of 4 days with the extra on the other end? What is it that you're looking to accomplish? And by the way, guys, this is your vision, what you're doing right now. Your vision of what you wanted before you came here. Now, as you're doing that, I want you to be thinking about this question because they're totally related. What is important about it? Okay, so this is your value, right? So I want to know, so what is it you want to accomplish, but why does it matter? Because again, if you don't have a why, as we've already established, probably not going to get it done. But if waking up at 6 in the morning means enough to you, trust me, you won't have to worry. And if you get this right, guys, guess what? You'll no longer need an alarm clock. Like Adrian does not have an alarm clock. Right? You don't need to go and wake up the man, right? He's on purpose, big time, and I don't think it's something insane like 4 o'clock in the morning the crazy man wakes up, but like he gets going at 5 a.m. Come hell or high water, and he doesn't need an alarm clock or his wife to shake him in the morning. That's not what's happening. You get your why right, and an alarm clock is something of the past. So what's important about it? How will I get it? These are the methods that you're going to use. What is preventing me from having it? And how will I know when I'm successful? So just take a few minutes, guys, and fill that out. And again, really think about it. And again, so what we've got here, what is preventing me from having it? This is your obstacle. How will I know when I'm successful? That's again, how you're going to go about patting yourself on the back. How many times have you set a goal and then accomplished it, never taken the time to pat yourself on the back, acknowledge it? You just pushed the bar further ahead, and never took the time to actually acknowledge how well